The founder of In Good Clean Taste. I am dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs design a healthy lifestyle by incorporating healthy, delicious tools, tips, and resources that empower their inner and outer game. Every episode, my featured guest and I share our healthy, delicious lifestyle journey on my globally recognized show, Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. Hello, and welcome to Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. I am so excited for this very first episode. We have an amazing lineup for this season, and I cannot wait for you to meet my guests. If you are interested in learning more about me, my products and services, you can check those out at ingoodcleantaste.com. So today's show is how to give your health a little love with Joie Gharrity. Now, she is an amazing guest, and I'm going to bring her up from the green room shortly so that you can meet her. But let me just tell you a little bit about this rock star. So Joie Gharrity is a founder of Joie G 113. She is a brand consultant, a personal development coach, an author, live stream host, podcaster, and international speaker. She worked in the Hollywood entertainment industry for 15 plus years at top companies in film, television, original web content, and branded entertainment. And now she runs her own media empire. Hello. So she has 2 books, The Red Carpet Guide to Visibility and Influence, and Being Your Own Superstar, How to Expand Your Love Capacity, as well as an entire media network devoted to empowering women entrepreneurs to be their own superstars. How's that for amazing? I'm going to bring her up. Here she comes. Hi, Joie. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I feel so like such a star right now. Well, thank you so much for the intro.
Oh, you are the ultimate star. I am so grateful you are here. So excited to have you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, sister.
Yay! And I cannot wait to get started on our topic, how to give your health a little love, because you are the master of this. And really, what I want to start off with is like, what does healthy, delicious lifestyle mean to you?
Well, it means being really, really, really lovely and kind to myself.
So good.
I used to work myself into the ground, my health into the ground. I was always grinding and did a lot of grinding with my health and my spirituality. And I ended up not being a very happy person, and my health was suffering. And then a little over 3 years ago, I had a download of why I really worked in Hollywood, and I observed all these superstars and how they were getting what they want is that they can take in mass amounts of love. And there wasn't one day, sister, in my entire career that you could have told me that love had anything to do with success. There wasn't one day.
Right? I feel like that is such a missing component into the discussion today, right? We don't really talk about love. We don't really talk about self-love a lot, and especially as women entrepreneurs, we have to be our biggest cheerleaders, right? We have to give ourselves that start to the day. Otherwise, who else is going to do it? Most of us are sitting behind the cameras all day, or we're running an office, and we don't have a lot of people coaching us up. So being our own best advocate is really the number one way that we can improve our health each day, right?
Yeah.
Now, I love this tip that you gave, healthy and delicious lifestyle share. 3 years ago, I made my health top priority. I started with my physical health by changing my eating habits, then the inner game with the love capacity daily habits. Please tell us more about this.
Yeah. So, I used to do crazy things like starve myself before a big event and things like that. And it just made me miserable. There probably wasn't an hour in a day that I wasn't pounding on myself around whether my weight or what I was eating or that kind of thing. So what I first did is I just stopped. I completely stopped that. Right. And it was just, I was just like, first grow your love capacity to allow and accept and receive that you are enough. Let's just start there. Right.
Yes.
Right. And in my book, Being Your Superstar, How to Expand Your Love Capacity, I was downloaded this daily habit system, And so I start my day every single day with that system. And what it's done, sister, is it's gotten me closer to the divine right away. Because once we wake up from dreams, a lot of times our dreams are quite negative, right?
Mhm.
So it gets me closer to the divine right away, right? But it also starts strengthening my love capacity for the day to be open, because love shows up in all kinds of forms, business, money, gifts, right? And so it sets my day up for a whole different type of success.
Oh, I love that. And I mean, I've read your book. I absolutely adore your book. And I have told you that, yes, I have told you how much of an impact it made in my own life, right? I think, what was it, a month after I started reading it, my husband started changing. And I was like,
Uh,
wait, what is that? He got his dream car. He's a car guy. He got his dream car. And I'm like, how is it my love capacity is rubbing off on him? But it does, right?
it does. Yeah, because you know what? Listen, we're sending out signals all day long, right? And the signal I was sending out before was a lot of disappointment, right? There was a lot of regret, a lot of disappointment. Even though from the outside looking in, my life, because my career was successful, people thought I was happy, and that does, and what I started realizing is your inner game is the biggest game in town. So once that signal started changing, my entire life changed in the best of ways, most extraordinary ways within 3 years. It was just like, it was crazy. It was just
Oh,
like, I like all of a sudden, all these things that I wanted just started just dropping in. Like recently, I wanted a new car, and so I just set the intention I wanted a new car, pushed that aside, just started growing my capacity, and I was gifted a new car for Christmas. And I
I
know
love
it
it.
was like bananas. Like my old self would never have thought that in a million years, and now I'm just like, yeah, of course, cool, my capacity, yay.
That is what I call a zingy citrus share, right? I'm going to call that my zingy citrus share. That's amazing. Like, who doesn't want a new car or whatever it is that your desire, right?
Yeah.
Having that intention, having the capacity. I think that's why your system is different from everyone else's. A lot of people talk about intention, they talk about manifesting. You're talking about you can have this intention all day long, but unless you can accept and receive the love that comes with it,
Yeah.
that's what you have to work on first, right?
Yeah, that's so beautiful, Claudine, because that's connecting the dots, right? I had endless vision boards.
Mm.
You name it, I was doing it. I did DNA reconstruction. And listen, I still support all that. Like I want people to do all that in a bag of chips, okay? Because I love it all, sister, right?
Yeah.
However, I wasn't connecting the dots. I would get so far, but I'd start hitting that glass ceiling. And until that download happened at my friend's life celebration, and the memories were connecting why I really worked in Hollywood, right? And I had that aha, and I was like, yes, I could allow and receive it, but then I couldn't fully accept all the love that came with that business deal, that came with someone offering me, a suite at the hotel, the private jets, all that kind of stuff is just love. That's all it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I get going and I would get what I want, but then things would start crumbling. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had that aha, I was like, okay. I was like, so all I need to do now is look at where my capacity is today, right? Where does it need to go to accept being gifted a car? Because God wants us to have everything we want. The divine
Yeah.
wants us to have everything we want.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I get so excited when you talk about this because I've seen the impact that it has on my life, on my clients' lives. And so maybe you can talk a little bit about how do you set this up for yourself during the day? Like, how do you start the day with this, for lack of a better word, intention, visualization? Like, how do you give yourself this love and really build the muscle so that you can receive and accept the love every day?
Yeah, so in the daily habit system, the love capacity daily habit system downloaded to me, there's a couple pieces. It only takes 30 minutes a day. I had a master prayer maker design the prayers very specifically. So
Mhm.
as people are reading the prayers, It is setting, it's growing their capacity to accept more love. I also do a visualization tool in there where it's not a typical visualization. I want people to walk into a stadium full of screaming fans that are screaming for them and cheering them on, because what it's doing is it's helping you to accept massive amounts of love, right? So there, so and instead of writing at the end of the day everything that's happened for you, that your love capacity is brought in and that you've allowed, received, and accepted, is I have you do it the next morning. Because there are things during the day before, where she'd be like, oh, that's no big deal. And I'm like, but it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And people will say things like, well, so what that that there was a that someone let me in front of the line. I said, but that's what I'm saying. That was your capacity. Because in the past you might have said, oh, no, that's okay. But instead you said, thank you. Thank you. And you allow it, because
Yeah.
the universe wants you to be somewhere else, because everything has to be in flow, and there's pieces of a puzzle that are being dropped in for you all day,
Mhm.
right? And listen, I just smile more. I do. This morning I was in the shower, I was smiling. I was like, I can't believe I'm smiling.
This is a great shower. Best shower ever.
I'm just a happier person, right? And I was just like, wow, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I have running water. I'm so grateful that I have a beautiful home, right? Because it was gifted to me. And that's something else too. I tell people out there, I said, these other intentions, when people say, I want a mansion. I'm like, okay, well, God wants you to have a mansion. I'm telling you. I said, but can you allow $1 million of love right this second? If someone walked up to you right now and handed you $1 million check for your mansion, could you accept that?
Mhm.
And they're like, well, I don't know. And I said, that's what I'm saying. So start working on being able to accept $1 million, because quit trying to control how that $1 million is going to show up for you.
Oh, that's such a good reminder. And I think for women entrepreneurs, especially, a lot of us are A players, right? Like I want it to be like this and I want it to happen this way. And I have all these goals and I have like the master plan to make it all happen. And when it doesn't happen the way that we have intended, because we're so used to succeeding,
Yeah.
right? Then when it doesn't happen the way we expected it to happen, it can just be challenging. So I love what you said about the universe wants to give it to you. Just be willing to accept it in the form in which it arrives.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
absolutely amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing is, I think it's so critical to give oneself this time in the morning. I love how you talk about set it up first thing in the morning, because I think for a lot of women, they're like, I'm not sure. Do I have a half an hour? And for me, I was like, girl, do not like getting up earlier. And I was really anti, but I did it. And what I discovered, which I have now imparted to my clients because I feel like it's so important, it's so critical, is aside from the actual practice itself, which is amazing and it is life changing, setting up that time for yourself, giving yourself first priority in the morning is so key to your overall mindset for the day. Because when you are giving yourself permission to put yourself first in the morning, it's
Mhm.
almost like you are setting up boundaries all day long and you're like, I'm important, I matter, my needs matter. And so other things that you might have just let go during the day or let happen, you don't, because you already have that subconscious mindset that, hey, I have things to do. I have an agenda. I have a passion and a desire to give to this world. It is important. And that is my priority.
Yeah, and I love this image, by the way. I love luxury.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I say to people out there in the marketplace, I say to them, I said, how if you won't carve out 30 minutes to give yourself, how do you think you're going to accept that major business deal that you've been praying for or looking for?
Mhm.
How are you going to accept you're at a hotel and they upgrade you to a suite? How are you
Yeah.
going to accept that? Right?
Mhm.
Because the muscle's not, the love capacity muscle isn't strong enough yet. Right? So every morning when I give myself that 30 minutes, which I do. And let me tell you, sister, there are times when I don't want to do it. My ego, right, is screaming because my ego is just like, I don't want her to get what she wants because I want her to stay small. I want her to play really small, right? And I push through that. And there's such a confidence when the 30 minutes is over. It's almost like I feel like I've won the day, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes, it's true. You do feel like you've set yourself up for success that day. And I will tack onto that because for my Radiant Woman clients, not only is it really important to have a morning routine, and I love yours. I think yours works it works wonders. I also encourage them to have an evening routine because you're not going to want to get up a half hour early if you've burned the midnight oil, right? Like
Yes.
we get our best sleep between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. So if you're not in bed by 9:30, 9:45, you're missing out on that ideal sleep that's going to give you the most rest. And it's going to allow you to wake up a half an hour earlier to set yourself up for success that morning.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful, I didn't know that. I didn't know about the 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and I agree. I feel too of, when you're more at ease, right? And that's what the love capacity does. It
Mm.
it helps you to be more at ease. When you're more at ease, you're more organized. When you're more organized, you have more systems in place. When you have more systems in place, your life is less chaotic, right? And so you just have your day is just more lovely. It's just more lovely. It's not that I don't get ruffled still, but my ruffle is looks very different than it did 3 years ago, right?
Yes. Yes, that is so good. And I will give a real life example of that.
Yeah.
I will say you're absolutely right. When you set up this time for yourself, you are definitely more at ease during the day. And for me, it means that what that means is that I respond in a more calm, logical manner to things, aka my kids. So
Mhm.
when they're pissing me off, it doesn't piss me off as much, right? Like I'm just able to like roll with it and understand they're kids and they're just being kids. Whereas if I'm irritated and angsty, it just, you know how it is when you're already kind of agitated, a little thing can set you off.
Yes.
This sets you up with a calm demeanor to be able to handle it. Basically gives you more cushion or
Yes.
more resilience. God, that's a perfect word. It gives you more resilience for the day. Absolutely.
I just visualize like it's almost like we have like more of a fluffy cloud around us, than when we're like this all the time, right? Which is impacting our health and impacts our wealth, our weight. I would fluctuate with weight all the time because I was running on disappointment a lot. I was running on sadness a lot, right? Things like that. Where when you're a happier person, you I'm not saying this is a magic bullet, but I am saying when you're more at ease, you just eat different. You're not as hungry as before. There's just some more, there's just way more joy, way more joy.
Yes, the joy. Well, I'm going to call this my mocktail moment. I love this. Not only is there more joy, but studies have shown that when you are stressed, you actually gravitate towards sweet and salty foods. You gravitate towards those comfort foods, right? When you are more at ease, when you are more calm, you have more energy to actually make something healthy or get something healthy, right? Like you're not bombarded with all of the things going on in your life. You're just more at ease. You're not burnt out, but also you just gravitate towards healthier things. So that is a perfect example of how setting yourself up for success, what a lot of people think of as mindset, what we're talking about, it actually translates physically into your health, your weight, your overall well-being.
It's so true. And I see a lot of women entrepreneurs are driving themselves into the ground. And this is
Mhm.
a philosophy that I very much bought into, very much so, where it was just like I felt like the harder I worked, right, I had to work hard. There was a lot of that
Mhm.
kind of philosophy going on for me. Again, I never thought love had anything to do with success. I could care less about it when I thought it was about maybe relationships, my
Yeah.
personal romantic relationships, right?
Mhm.
Um, but once I was able to actually identify that that I had all this junk that was taking up a lot of my capacity inside, and replacing that by breathing in mass amounts of love and then breathing out like the sadness and disappointment. It's so true. It's like everything changed, not just my physicality changed, right? Or my worry meter got way less, but
Mhm.
my entire world, my entire lifestyle changed. Like
Yes.
it upgraded, like in a whole new way, in a whole new way, and which makes me even more at ease.
Mm.
Right? So you're so right. It's just like mindset is fantastic and God bless all the mindset stuff out there, right? Because I'm that girl. I read those. Claudine and I are huge readers, right? We're just constantly like this, right? This
Mhm.
is true, right? However, right? However, I do encourage everyone out there who is tuning in today, tomorrow, and a year from now, whenever the call to action got you here, right? Is to sit down with yourself and be very authentic and ask yourself, where is your capacity from 1 to 10 right this second, and 10 being the highest, and be authentic, right? Because when I was authentic, when I first started, I realized my capacity was low.
Mm.
I was at probably a 2, maybe a 3, right? And when I set the intention of my dreams and desires, again, push them to the side. Don't focus on them anymore. Just focus on growing the capacity, because then things are going to fall in. My desire was to have a new car 3 years ago, but my capacity wasn't big enough
Mm.
to accept the love of someone gifting me a car. Like there was no way 3 years ago I could have done that, right? But today, well, clearly this December, I was, and so it fell in, right?
Yes.
And bigger things will continue to fall in, and they will continue to fall in like Grand Canyon level.
Yes. I love that. And one thing I imagine for the women out there watching this, because I know, right? We both know we are women entrepreneurs. We run the show, we do all the things. They're probably sitting there going, I do not have any extra time. I cannot pack a single thing into my schedule.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, so my healthy, delicious lifestyle share is, a great way to do it. A couple things. One, a great way to do it is to block out some extra time in your calendar, right? Like actually make it an appointment, just like you would any other appointment, right? And that I think is hard for a lot of us to do, because when we tell ourselves we're going to do something for us, it's easy to push aside,
Yeah.
right? So someone comes in and says, I need this. We're like, oh, well, I'll just do this thing for me later.
Get out your planner,
Yeah, get
ladies.
out your planner. And I actually, because I have an electronic, oh, I have both, but people can book time on my electronic calendar. So I literally block it off so they cannot book time in
Ah,
those spots. Um,
that's
but the
clever.
other thing that I tell my clients is this is really interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon how this works. I'm sure there's a name for it in the science world. I don't know what the name is, but I find that when I set this time up for myself in the morning is great, right? When I set this time up for myself in the morning, I actually am much more efficient and effective during the day. So I actually gain time
Yes.
rather than lose time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think part of that is just that you're able to be more focused,
Mhm.
right? If you're doing your evening routine and you're getting enough sleep, you're obviously less tired, which means you're already more focused. You're able to do more things because your brain's functioning properly. Obviously, setting yourself up with a good baseline of health is also very helpful. Um,
Yes.
but having that time in the morning that really drills down into what's important, what matters, that you matter,
Yeah.
right? That really just it carries through your whole day, and you're just able to like knock it out of the park. Things that aren't as important you push aside, demands that are made of you that aren't necessarily don't have to be done right now, whereas things that you want to get done for you are more important. Like all of that just falls into place.
It's true. That's why people that admire these successful people, right?
Mhm.
One that comes to mind, what always comes to everyone's mind, is Oprah, right?
Yes.
Her love capacity, it's beyond Grand Canyon level. Beyond. She's been working on her inner game for so long, right?
Mhm.
And she's been doing it publicly for so many years, right? That the acceptance piece is there, right? You're not going to find a successful person out there. right? None of the people I was running with or working with or was in my arena, they they were their lifestyles were ease, right? For birthdays, they would receive a car. That wasn't unusual, or a horse,
Yeah.
or a private plane to go to an island for free, right? And they weren't sitting there worrying about it. They weren't like, "Well, how am I gonna get there, and who's gonna blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah."
Mhm.
No. No, they understood this on such a deep level. This is why they are stars. This is why they are such superstars, right?
Mhm.
They understood that they were at ease with all this, and so their days were ease, but also very enthusiastic, right? And that's the way I felt like this. Like I knew I was coming on a show, right? So I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm going to go on Claudine's show." Before Claudine, I would have been so stressed,
Mm.
right? And I've been like, "Oh, I don't have time to go on Claudine's show." That's baloney. That was because my capacity to allow and receive the invitation was there, but not to accept it.
Yes.
Okay. And this is what we want women entrepreneurs out there to hear us. Hear us from the I'm
Mhm.
screaming this from the mountaintops, guys, right? Is that is that to give yourself that setup time in the morning, right? And from Claudine at night, right? To give yourself that, and don't act like it's a gift. It is literally your birthright. It's literally your birthright. And you will see at first, as you start growing your capacity, you're going to see little changes, but with time, you start seeing big changes, right?
Mhm.
And going to the gym isn't going to seem like before I would feel guilty.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah. Before I literally would feel guilty.
For taking the time.
Yeah. And now I'm there and I'm like, I was talking to my husband last night. I was just like, it's like, babe, you should see what they've done with the gym. And I'm like, I was like, I was in gratitude and smiling and you see what I'm saying? Because it's part of the capacity journey. It's part of it.
Yes, to make it a non-negotiable, to make that time for yourself a non-negotiable. I love
Yeah.
it. I feel like we can talk about this all day. I absolutely adore it. Anyone who's watching out there, you definitely need to get Joey's book. I will put the link in the notes. Joey, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Yay, I'm going to pop you back into the green room.
Thank you, sister.
Yes. So thank you so much for being here. What an amazing woman. Wow. I will definitely be linking her books in the show notes so you can learn how to get more love in your life. Thank you so much for joining me. And I want you to think about how are you going to create a healthy, delicious lifestyle for yourself today. And until then, join me for another episode of Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine next Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and have a healthy, delicious lifestyle. Claudine Francois and the founder of In Good Clean Taste. I am dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs design a healthy. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me, my products, and services at ingoodcleantaste.com. Be sure to join me for another episode every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on my globally recognized show, Healthy Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine.